This is Dr. Gigi Sabbat, and you're listening into the Walk With Me podcast. My guest today is Nikki Jackson. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Miss Gigi. How are you?
Fantastic. How are you?
Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. It's such an honor to have you here today.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here.
Welcome. Now, can you start off by telling us a little bit more about you and where are you from, Nikki?
So, Dr. Gigi, I'm originally from New York. I basically went to school all the way up to high school into 1995, and then we relocated as a family down here to Palm Coast. My father actually had a house in Hammond Dunes, and basically over my time here, I didn't live here from 1995 onward. I basically got a job at Wells Fargo. I worked out of Orlando. I lived there for 10 years on and off. I was an executive assistant. Can I go into that? Is that
Absolutely,
fine?
yes.
Yeah, so I was an executive assistant to a divisional president for Wells Fargo for 22 years. My actual territory was 13 states of the Southeast division of our nation. From there, I became a competitive bodybuilder. And from there, I opened up my own business called Physiques by Nikki, which was basically detailing personal training, fitness coaching, nutrition coaching, and mindset strategies. Now, fast forward how I met Dr. Gigi.
Yes.
I'm always very interested in life coaching, and I heard about her book, God First,
Yes.
as I went to an actual, where did we go to? I went to a motivational speaking
For the Love
event.
of God brunch.
Yeah, for the Love of God brunch, and she was talking about God first. So we are kind of putting our heads together to see how we could be shining examples for Jesus and God. So to answer your question, though, I have been here in Florida since 1995, on and off in different areas from Orlando. I've traveled a lot throughout my life, but like Dr. Gigi, my real passion in life is helping people. And like I've been speaking to Dr. Gigi, I've been on a life journey that has been quite interesting. But on it, I found not only Jesus Christ, I found God, but I also found connection to music and genius that I've never thought I could ever find, whether it be through the likes of Michael Jackson or Prince. But basically, I am also a licensed esthetician, but really in my prowess, I really want to get back to helping people in a motivational style. So I'm trying to join forces with Gigi, fight the good fight, and really help people, whether it's through their skin, their body, nutrition, give up the hangups, the limiting behaviors that we have in this world that we carry with us, that we just need to drop our crosses, trust in God, and let him write the steps or order the steps.
Absolutely amazing. And we both live in Palm Coast.
Yes.
Now.
Yeah, Palm Coast now.
Now, to start us off, before we go any further, would you like to play a song?
I sure will. So basically, I'll give you a very quick little rendition of whatever comes out.
Go for it.
All right.
Wow. Absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you so much, Nikki, for playing the song. What is the name of the song?
The name of the song is The House of the Rising Sun by the Animals. And to give you a little background, I did take piano lessons. But
Likewise.
what I ended up doing one day, and as God would have it, he sat me in front of my father had bought me a Steinway piano. Hamilton's very beautiful, and so is the Steinway.
Yes.
But I was bored, and everybody was doing something, and out of my boredom, I sat there and by my ear plucked every note out. After 8 hours, I created the song, maybe not 100% the way it was written, but I did not use the radio, I did not use music, I did not use it. So all of that came from my ear.
Wow.
So would you consider that to be God working through?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. So House of the Rising Sun by the Animals, and that's Nikki Jackson's rendition.
I love it.
With the assistance of Hamilton, the most beautiful mahogany piano I've ever seen.
Yes, I love it.
Yeah.
And now, Nikki, you spoke a little bit about the challenges that you face on this journey we call life.
Yeah.
And we spoke, right, as well in regards to domestic violence.
Yes.
You know my story, and the folks out there listening as well, but we want to hear from you, your story in regards to domestic violence. Tell us a little bit more.
Okay. So basically, I was married since 2015, or actually, yeah, 2015. And I thought I had a very beautiful relationship with my husband. And 5 years into our relationship, and I'll be honest with you, we drank a lot. I cut all alcohol with the help of God out of my life. We were bodybuilders, so there was some steroid usage. I did the usage and then quit. And when I did that, and my life took a turn because I went more towards God, my husband basically went more into the addiction end of things. We had gotten into physical fights where I was actually kicked in the back by my husband, fell down, broke my lip open. In self-defense, I actually hit him back, and I would consider that to be a rock bottom for our marriage. But really what brought this out was the fact that the vows that my husband and I took under the oath of God were devoued by him having an adulterous affair, physical and online. And basically, the domestic violence really stemmed from a place where I was with a man that tied all his self-worth to sex.
And you have some injuries, correct, on your lip, on your
Well, not on the lip anymore. It just basically, when I fell down, it like just split open. So it was just like bleeding a little bit. But basically what I'm trying to say is that in this trial of getting closer to God and getting closer to Jesus, basically all of the clutter and all of the things that are in my life that were not supposed to be in my life have been removed. And the toxicity of being in a marriage that is not equally yoked. Now, Dr. Gigi,
yes.
You're very well versed in the Bible and God.
Yes.
Can you explain to them what equally yoked really truly means in a marriage?
Absolutely. And meaning that you essentially give it to God, keep God first and foremost, but also too, you all literally want to see each other grow, and literally you meet each other where you may be at the time. Meet each other where you are, right? Meet others where they are, and allow God to move. Allow God to move. And I just gave a talk actually at the first annual Global Marriage Conference hosted by Mark Olsey and I. And it was God first in marriage. And the example that I utilized was my parents. And as well as other examples that were mentioned in Linda Gunter's book, How to Get What You Really Want, right? And so God first in marriage, it's so important.
And I would equally say this. When you are a person that has a growth mindset, if you're not equally yoked, meaning, and I said this a number of times, that you have got to have your life, your priorities,
Yes.
the things that make you feel proud about yourself. They have to have that as well. You have to both equally respect wedding vows.
Yes.
But yes, you have to have a beautiful life together. And I find that when people get married for whatever reason, unless they are truly very much virtually and insanely in love with each other to the point that there's no jealousies or things that come in between, unfortunately, there is a lot of casualty within the marriage because there's jealousies, insecurities, there's envious, and there is a big difference, I believe, in between insecurity that is of jealousy and of envy. Jealousy, I feel, is something, and I'm saying this because this is what led to the domestic violence, so I hope I'm not going out of scope.
No, okay.
The jealousy is something like, say like you're jealous that somebody has a piano, but you work very, very hard and you buy the piano. Well, you're no longer jealous of anybody because you worked hard and you got the piano. Envy is an actual sin in the Bible. It's a defunct measure of thinking because even if you got the piano, then you move to something else that you're envious of because you're not willing to do the work. You're not willing to pick up your cross for Christ. You're not willing to walk the walk that God is asking you to walk. And energy gets degraded to the point where you get degraded. And then your marriages are falling apart. And then basically you are literally in, I call it the dire strait.
That's right. Nikki, how did you get through what you went through in regards to domestic violence?
Jesus Christ. Honestly. I have been saved by Jesus Christ. I think the saving process happens a lot of different times in life. I also call it conscious evolution. And, I did quote Michael Jackson and Prince, but both of these artists, and I go to them because they were spiritual leaders or maybe spiritual members of society. Whether you saw them as people that were on the stage, they had very poignant messages. They spoke of Jesus in their actual writings and in their lyrics, or maybe it was actually transmissions that came through them. But I would say that without the strength of Jesus Christ, without me being able to go to him and in prayer, and I'm going to say this very candidly,
Yes.
you can't go to Jesus and say, I want to be saved. And he might save the first time he saves you. He then is offering you a chance. You have to repent. You have to renew your mind, your body, and your soul in order to get over whatever that crux was in your life. So to be fully transparent, when I was with my first fiance, I had an affair at work. And Jesus brought that full circle, and then I had a marriage, and that affair happened to me. So you got to see it from every single angle of what it was, the pain that somebody else felt. But don't think the devil is not going to present you with another situation that is going to ask you, are you going to move forward and still do this because Jesus gave you an out? Are you going to change your ways? Are you going to not have the affair? Are you going to cut down your Facebook? Are you going to shut down your, take all the passwords off your phone? Are you going to be transparent with your significant other? Are you willing to tell the truth of maybe having a herpes infection? Or, I'm just going through the gamut. But he is asking you to bare your soul, clean it out. It's like you have to cut the infection open, cut the wound open. Jesus will come and clean the infection out. But if you keep doing the wrong thing, the infection goes right back in. And it's a very long, arduous process if you're not willing to submit and surrender to your Almighty Father.
That's right. We have to acknowledge that the devil does exist, but it's always God that's going to get you through. So you may be wondering what's causing this to happen, or who's to blame, right? It's not God. Don't blame God. God's going to get you through.
Right. That's exactly right. And, one of the things you asked me how I got through this, I surrendered to Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Jesus put me in submission positions that I had to, I acknowledge him. I love him. He can be a father. He could be a warrior. He could be a healer. But to me, Jesus is raw, universal power. Do you believe that?
Of course, yes.
I mean, I believe, so I'm going to talk to you like this, Gigi.
Yes.
When Jesus was walking down the road to Damascus, he gave me a vision, okay? And when the mob was coming, he was walking this way, and the mob came from the right, and the mob came from the left. And he put his hands down like that, and the mob fell over, and he walked through.
Wow.
So whether or not that was the actual account that is written in the Bible, that was the vision that Jesus Christ, the Almighty Father, gave me specifically. And I understand him as raw power. I understand him as a warrior. I understand him as somebody that, he will lick and clean your wounds with you, but you have got to pick up your cross and walk for him. And you will be tested by the devil. Like she said, acknowledge it. Doesn't mean that you have to walk around every day looking for something bad to happen, because a lot of Christians are told that you're going to get tested. And basically what I'm trying to say is that when I see him or I think of him, sometimes I say, let me go before you. You suffered enough. Now, have you ever gotten to that point? Like, I can't even look at, and I'm being honest, the sight of Jesus on a cross makes me very sad, because I would never want him to suffer like that.
Exactly.
Right?
Right.
And I think that when you get closer to him, that becomes very personal.
Yes, it does.
Right? Did you have an experience like that?
Absolutely. It's sad to see that as well, but he's truly a warrior, right? He's a warrior. And I truly believe that you are God's warrior as well, right? And
so are you.
Thank you. And in fact, it's in the Bible, right? You will know who among you are your fellow disciples. So yeah, remain vigilant.
Vigilant is a very good word. I sometimes call it head on a swivel. We're living in an interesting time, okay? And I would say this. I think that the devil can wear many cloaks, and there are people that can make you feel very comfortable, and there are people that can bamboozle you for a period of time. But we live in a sexual revolution. Obviously, everything you turn on TV is sex, drugs, rock and roll. there's politics that gets sexual. There is, I'm just talking from that point of view, Gigi.
From your observation.
Yeah, from my observation, because I feel like our society is degrading because everybody has to look perfect. Everybody has to be perfect. There are apps on phones that everybody's cinching in their waist, making their boobs bigger if they can't afford a breast augmentation. They're putting filters on their face that are making their face look smoother, rounder, plumper. People are wearing many masks today in order to, I don't know if it's not to take up their cross for Jesus, but maybe they started and it got hard. But there is many footholes in here that could cause a stronghold in your life if you are not standing on the rock of Christ.
That's right. Nikki, what message do you have for an individual who is currently going through domestic violence?
Well, number one, I would say don't be afraid to speak to your family. I was afraid to speak to my family at first, and I fought for 5 years, going to therapy and doing stuff in the background. 2, get a very good therapist, but be careful when you get a therapist because you want to make sure that they understand your belief system as much as they want to help you, okay? I think you have to get soul healing. Gigi's doing a retreat called
Soul Reset Retreat.
Yeah. So, get around wholesome people that want to heal their soul. But I would say get the authorities involved, call hotlines if you have to, and they will give you steps. If you're afraid and you're in dire need of I would say resurrection or help or anything, you need to contact 911 or you, like Gigi,
yes.
You call a good friend. They come over, they help you, they move you from one safe place to the next safe place. They drop what they're doing, but you have got to be honest of what's going on. And a lot of times in domestic violence, these people are so passive aggressive and manipulative that they really truly put you in a situation that they make you feel guilty for reaching out to the people in your life that are the closest to you because they know they can help you.
Right. Nikki, what about forgiveness?
Forgiveness, that's an interesting one.
Have you forgiven?
Yes.
And likewise.
Yes, forgiven. Forgiveness, I believe, is totally for yourself. It is a actual sacrament, isn't it not, that you have to go through with Jesus. And basically, when you get to forgiveness, it kind of like washes over you. You don't want to, you don't want to kill the person anymore. You don't want to feel any hatred. You don't want anything like that. But at the end of the day, what I would say is that we must forgive not only them, we have to forgive ourselves. We have to lean on the understanding that we don't have the full picture. Even if you live with somebody, you might not really know them. And with Jesus, anything is possible. With God, the Almighty Father, the
Amen.
Creator, anything is possible. So yes, forgiveness is something I've done a number of times. But a pastor once told me that you can write letters, you can bring things to people's attention. They might not be at the same place or the same walk as you. And we all know that we all have a different walk with Jesus.
That's right.
And he said, say what you got to say with love, get community, and leave the door open. And sometimes that means that person comes back in 5 minutes. It could be 10 years. And at the end of the day, if that person does not change after they come through the door, you do not have to keep them in your life. You have to keep yourself safe.
That's right. Now, Nikki, where are you on your healing journey?
So basically, the healing journey has been very long. Not only did I go through the domestic abuse, we went through a contentious divorce. I lost my mother to dementia at the age of 74. They had to euthanize my dog because he bit somebody and I suffered PTSD. I lost a bodybuilding coach at the age of 38 years old to steroid usage that, added to my grief. Healing has been in layers like an onion. It's not linear. But I would say that I'm getting stronger and stronger by the day because I am resilient. You have to take time for rest, self-prioritization. I know, Gigi, you're doing some work with a doctor for perimenopause. At 48 years old, I'm finding myself going through that. And I will say this, human beings are not really meant to understand loss. Loss of a mother, a father, loss of a sibling, loss of a marriage, loss of a loved one, loss of a boss. It takes the brain time to truly process these things through. And if you do not put God first, and I'm picking up her book because I think you should go and buy it, but if you do not put God first, it's almost impossible to get through these trials and tribulations of this time.
Amen.
What would you say?
I agree 100%. Yes, I second that. Now, Nikki, what gives you the most joy?
The most joy. Playing a piano like Hamilton, spending time with somebody like yourself. Dr. Gigi's been wonderful. She's a wonderful resource. Yoga, painting, spending time with my creator, walking around. I don't know if you've done anything with grounding, but taking your shoes off and feeling the sand beneath your feet, feeling the wind on your face, going to yoga, learning how to surrender. You know, yoga doesn't mean that you don't love God. You surrender to what you believe. And I've never been on a yoga mat without Jesus Christ beside me, and I can feel him in the room. Really, another thing that gives me joy is helping others like you, Dr. Gigi.
Thank you.
I really like to do fitness. I like to get into the trench with people, but as you're healing, sometimes you got to take a step back. And I've never been one to really take a step back, but when I did, I found God is not just my father, he's my daddy. You know, I'm his little baby.
Oh.
And that's how I feel. How do you feel about that, Dr. Gigi?
I love it 100%. And while we're on the subject of what you love to do or things that you're doing, you also do facials. And
Yes.
recently you just did a facial for me, my first facial.
So tell them what your experience was.
Yes, it was absolutely phenomenal. And I'd love to share a picture here that I have from the actual facial. If you can see this here.
There you go.
This is actually from the facial we just did the other day.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend Nikki Jackson's services in regards to facials.
Yes. So currently I'm at Gabby & Co. Salon, which is at 4721 East Moody Boulevard. And we are in the Amaral, Amaral. I like to spell it out because sometimes people don't understand it. Amaral Plaza. And basically I am there Tuesdays through Saturdays. We do everything from skin analysis, and I'll let you know this, skin analysis is absolutely free. So if you contact the salon, Gabby & Co. Salon, look them up on Google, ask for Nikki Jackson. Basically, you can get a free skin analysis. We have mini glow facials, which is your basic, you know, cleanse, tone, moisturize. We do LED therapies with red lights, and we do a rainbow one from purple to yellow to orange to green to white and blue. Each one of them has a property that is healing to the skin. Right now I'm specializing in Dermapen Nano and Dermapen needling, and that basically is microdermabrasion, and the needling helps with hyperpigmentation, acne, pop marks, scars. We sell them in packages, but we can get skin back to looking like beautiful skin. We have anti-aging facials, signature facials, and a spa facial. And I also do a special acne protocol facial for teens or anybody going through anything hormonal. We also do add-ons such as dermaplaning. We do hot stone massages for the neck, scalp massages with essential oils, aromatherapies. And right now what I'm promoting is a curated facial where you can buy our base facial, which is $60. And from there, you can curate it however you want, and you can try out all the different things, and I will build a facial especially for you. When I did Dr. Gigi's facial the other day,
Yes.
we did dermaplaning. What did you think of dermaplaning? And I'll explain. Dermaplaning is basically you take this like a surgical blade, and you go over and you take off the stratus corneum, which is your top layer of skin. So all the dead skin cells come off. We take off all of the vellus, which is the light baby hairs that are all all throughout the face. And basically it takes all that off, the pollution, the dirt, the oil, so that the pores are open. And then I gave her a nice LED hyaluronic acid mask. So talk to them about the experience, start to finish. What did you think of the room? What did you think of the products? What did you think of the smell of the products? And what did you think of the services as a whole?
I love it. The room was very peaceful. It was a nice, quiet place to be, to get a facial, and very relaxing. And I feel great. The face feels great. It feels really light and smooth.
Yes. And what did you think of the vibe in the room? Did you feel that it was calming?
Good vibes,
Yes.
literally. That's all I got.
And we do extensive steaming. She got steaming. And we could do hand and arm and neck and back of the neck. We could do massaging. We do hot towel therapies with essential oils and active moist through Dermalogica. The lines that we're using right now are post-quam out of Portugal. We have some beautiful products, rose hip oils. Everything's pretty natural. We have a new product called Always Young, which they call Botox in a bottle, so you don't have to get injections, but it firms the skin. But really what it's about is community. It's about being there. Come, lay down, feel the presence of God. And I feel like God does sit in that room. Did you feel that?
Yes.
That he's there?
Yes, I did feel his presence.
Yes. And so, like I said, we're at Gabby & Co Salon. My name is Nikki Jackson. You can just call up. We have a receptionist. Her name is Percy. She'd be happy to schedule you. I am there and available Tuesday through Saturday. At the very least, come in, have a free skin analysis, and I can guide you from there. And, you know, we look at pore size, we look at hyperpigmentation, we look at wrinkles, we look at the hydration of the skin. And being I'm a nutrition coach as well as a fitness coach, we can always liaison out, and I can give you supplements to take. And sometimes if you come for some of our treatments, I will offer vitamin E or whatnot. But really, it's about feeling good on the inside and outside. And the tagline of my company for Physiques by Nikki was "The hero lies within." Yes. And this tagline for this business, Nikki Jackson Aesthetics, is "Love the skin you are in."
I love it. Love the skin you are in. Absolutely beautiful. Now, Nikki, what is your best advice to the audience for walking with purpose and living a life of happiness?
Well, walking with purpose is something that we have to do every single day. When I was a fitness coach and I was doing that as my business solely, basically I would say, you can't just do a rep. Like say if you're doing a bicep rep, like everything has to have purpose and intention. Put your mind, put your focus into it. So for purpose, we have to be focused. We have to have our eyes on Christ, our eyes on God. Know that God always provides. Take your time to pray incessantly. I believe that's Thessalonians.
Yes.
But to me, praying is not just saying the Our Father or the Hail Mary. Praying is a constant conversation. Both Gigi and I are advocate followers of Pastor Rick Warren. He believes that we are to have a personal relationship with Jesus. Jesus should be the rock of your life. Jesus should be everything in your life. You can't walk with purpose if you don't believe and love Jesus Christ.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes, ma'am. What is your favorite verse, Nikki?
I'm going to say the one that first of all, draw close to God and God will draw close to you. I built a board at one point, and I'll tell you a real quick story.
Absolutely.
It was basically I was going through The Purpose-Driven Life, and I read the book a couple times, but every time I read The Purpose-Driven Life, it literally talks to me differently because I'm in a different stage of life. And so I started taking the verses out of it, and I built this beautiful board, and I put John 3:16 at the top. It was a black board, but in metallic silver, I put John 3:16, quote the verse.
I love it.
Right?
Yes.
All right. So he who so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son.
Yes.
Okay. Then from there, I was taking all of the verses and I was putting them on Post-it notes, and I would draw a little picture that embodied what that meant. Then I got washi tape and I started putting it together. And when I stood back from it, I looked, I said, wow, it's a quilt.
Wow.
Well, what is a quilt? A quilt is a 3-ply blanket, not easily torn. So that to me resonated as the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, the God spark that lives within. And from there, I would say, yes, draw close to God and God will draw close to you. That was directly in the center of the board. And at times it feels like God is far away, but I believe once you tap on that door and knock hard enough, God is there. And if you love his son, and Pastor Rick always asks, when you get to heaven, God's going to say, what did you do with my son? And I said, I loved him with every fiber of my being.
I love it. And my favorite verse is Joshua 1:9. It says, haven't I commanded you to be strong and courageous? Do not be afraid or discouraged, for your Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Therefore, remember, if you're listening out there, you're not alone. God is with you wherever you go. And if you're facing a challenge today, you will get through it, I believe. And I have hope. And there is always a light at the end of the tunnel. Don't give up. Keep the faith and keep going. Nikki, do you have any last words for the audience?
The only thing I would say is this. You are a godsend.
Divine intervention. I'm grateful for our friendship.
Can I have a hug?
Of course.
Thank you. But she met me in a very rough spot, and we're working together. But the one thing I would say is that your hero definitely does lie within. We have to tap in greatly, and being through PTSD, domestic violence, loss, you start learning how to use other parts of your brain. And Gigi, I would like to ask you to come back for another podcast because I would like to talk a little bit more about the musical prowess of the enlightenment I was given through the likes of Michael Jackson and the likes of Prince. And, you know, this is not something that I talked to Gigi about this in a life coaching event. when we get close to God, there are senses that we have that are beyond normal senses. They're called clairsenses, right?
Yes.
What can you explain to them what clairsenses are?
Yes. And when you get quiet, you can hear him. Allow that space, get quiet. If you're telling me you can't hear him, pay attention to where you may be, right? Your surroundings, what's causing you to feel that way. And if it's a toxic situation, remove yourself. Remove yourself out of it.
Yeah.
Jim Rohn, you're not a tree, move.
Yes. And discernment. The closer you get discernment. You're able to slice and dice through situations. And some of it is very, very tricky because a lot of people wear a lot of different masks. So what I would tell everybody is get quiet, get silent, read God first, read The Purpose-Driven Life. And if you are ever in a situation where you feel like you are about to be harmed, your living situation's unsafe, you do not stay there for that. You get help, call 911 immediately, get a support system, and get yourself out of it. Because there's no lie that the devil can tell you that God hasn't already figured out an answer to. So you have got to rely on God the Rock and Jesus Christ the Rock, because they have lined your heart portal, your chakra, with the words of the Bible. They have given you everything that you need to say when you tap in. It will come out of you almost like a chant at times. It'll come out of you through automatic writing, right? Well, you automatic write, don't you?
That's right. And speaking of the heart chakra, one of our authors, our co-authors in the Overcoming Heart Blocks, Inspiring Stories for Healing from Trauma, again, that's Overcoming Heart Blocks, Inspiring Stories for Healing from Trauma book, one of our authors, Eliza Lapine, she talks about it, right? The diamond heart, the heart chakra. So I encourage you to, if you're listening in today, read the book, and you'll understand, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I would just say, rely on God.
Yes.
He will give you the power. You will be resilient. And I truly believe that until a follower or a believer says, I'm willing to go from my will to thy will, and you mean that with every fiber of your being, life is not very easy, because going my will to thy will does not just mean that you're going to be living with unicorns and rainbows. Everything that's bad will be detoxified so you can live the life the Father has designed for you. He orders the steps. He makes the plan. He has the tapestry. There's dark and there's light, but you can't get to the light without the dark, and you can't get to the big picture without all the colors in between. So, Dr. Gigi, that's my inspirational words for today.
Wow, I love it. And where can the audience find you, Nikki?
Well, for right now, they can find me at Gabby & Co. I am reestablishing myself. So at some point here, and Gigi, maybe we will recircle.
Yes.
I'm going to be setting up a Facebook business page. But at this point, I can give you my email if you'd like to reach out to me at NikkiJackson125@outlook.com. That's NikkiJackson125@outlook.com. And I would say this. Send me an email, or you can call Gabby & Co. Salon. And like I said, you can find them on Google and ask for Nikki Jackson. But if you want to talk more about domestic violence, if you are interested in mindset coaching, I'm still available to do that. We could do fitness coaching, training. Wherever you are, I want to meet you in the middle, because at the end of the day, we are to be whole. We're not to be little pieces fragmented off. We're not to be worried. We're not to be anxious. We are to be whole. And if I could be honest with you, the only way to get whole is with Jesus Christ.
Amen. Thank you so much, Nikki, for being a guest on the Walk With Me podcast. God bless you.
God bless you. And God bless the audience. Thank you for the time today, Gigi.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Are people actually saying something?
In the comment section.
Thank you for letting me play Hamilton.
You're welcome. And it's appearing as though we're still on. There must be a technical glitch here. That's all right. It happens.